get to play the game of getting out. Oh, all right. Hey guys, and welcome to this installment of Mike's Vehicle Vlogs. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Last night I made a vlog in regards to the pros and cons of my daily driver, which is the 2011 Ford Escape XLT. And today I figured I would give you the pros and cons of the latest addition to our vehicle family, which is this 2015 Ford Fiesta SE. So we've had the Fiesta for a few months now, and I'll go into that a little bit as we get the video started. And you know, I've driven it enough now to where I can definitely critique it. I can just going to give you guys my personal opinion on a lot of the things that I like about it and the things that I don't like about it. And much like the Escape, you know, to be honest with you, I like it more than I don't like it. So I don't really have much to complain about. I really don't have anything to complain about at all, but I just want to go ahead and tell you guys about the things that I love about the car and the things that I think are kind of here and there. Let's begin. Now, before I go into the pros and cons of the Fiesta, one thing that I wanted to answer for a viewer who left a comment on one of these Escape videos, they wanted to know exactly where the tire jack is located. And I forgot to actually mention this in the video that I made for the pros and cons of the Escape, but it was actually dark anyway, so you wouldn't have been able to really see much. But anyway, as I mentioned, my Escape has this, you know, the wet trunk underneath the floor. So if you have an Escape with this wet trunk, then you'll have another compartment under this mat, and under here is where the tire jack would be. Basically, it's underneath this other storage compartment. So that is where that's in. If you have an Escape that doesn't have this wet trunk in the floor, then it would be in here. And as you can see, I've got nothing in there because it's under my floor instead. I hope that answers your question. If you've got the wet trunk, it's there. If not, it's there. Getting these things back on sometimes is just... There we go. So that's that. Oh my cat. The 2015 Ford Fiesta SE. We bought the car in January, and it was actually kind of a fluke with us ending up getting the car. We were looking for a car for my wife. She had a 99 Toyota Corolla, and it was just falling apart rapidly, and it was getting to the point where it just wasn't worth keeping anymore. So we went to look at cars, and this one just happened to be there, and we didn't expect to leave with a car this new, but we did. So basically, the first thing that attracted my wife to the car anyway was the color, and this is known as Blue Candy Metallic. Definitely, in my opinion, a wonderful color, especially on this car. I was a fan of this color for a long time, and I am happy to have a car that is featured in this color. So this SE is actually very well equipped for it being an SE model. So there's a bunch of options that this car came with when the original owner ordered it. It was a lease, a 2-year lease, so we ended up getting it just out of lease, and it had 21,000 miles, I believe, at the time. So it was under the, your average 2-year drive, and it's just a nicely equipped SE model. For example, it's got the optional Sport Appearance package, which includes those machined alloy rims with the black finish. So that adds a nice touch to this car. So that's just to name something. Now, first and foremost, when it comes to the pros and cons of this 2015 Fiesta, from me anyway, is well, the amount of room for me. I'll show you. So typically, obviously my wife drives this car more than I do, and when I go to get in it after she's done driving it, this is the position. So I'm always obviously really crammed when getting in here. But for the most part, when I need to move back, that is as far back as it goes. It's locked into place now, so it doesn't go back any further. And then I tilt the seat back a little bit, and then I'm a lot more comfortable, obviously. So you can kind of tell how much legroom there is. It's not the best for somebody taller. So I don't really know if I can justify this as a con or not. It's definitely a lot better than the Corolla that we had. But needless to say, I can sit here for a long drive. I have when we took the car down to Columbus. That was like almost a 3-hour drive, and I was comfortable the entire time. So I can get comfortable in this car. The seats alone, honestly, are really nice. There's a lot of nice side support. They're firm on your back and on your bottom, and they're heated also, so that's an advantage in the winter. But I will say the comfort overall would be a pro in this car. I can deal with the limited amount of leg space that I have for as tall as I am, so that's just fine. So the overall comfort for me, I say, is a pro. Now, if you're talking about the back seat, I actually got in it this time. I obviously can't sit back here for a long time. Definitely crammed. I mean, this is with the seat as far back as it goes. And the seat does have this little indentation here, so my knees actually go into the seat back. So if somebody as tall as me was sitting up there driving, I could not ride back here. There's no way. If my wife was driving, I would have a little more room, but probably not too much. So for taller people, especially myself, I would give this a con. However, it is a small car, and when we got the car, I knew I wasn't going to sit back here, because it's usually just her and I, so we don't really have to worry about, usually either one of us sitting back here. We haven't had, I don't think we've had any passengers in this car since we've had it yet. We're boring people, we don't chauffeur people around. So, but obviously if you're a smaller person, this would be fine. This is actually the first time I've gotten back here, surprisingly. But I mean, overall, it is comfortable. Again, not so much headroom either, up against the pillar there. I mean, I don't know. It's not bad, but overall, just because of this would be a con for me. So the Fiesta is equipped with a 1.6 liter dual overhead cam 4-cylinder. It's actually kind of similar to my engine, just a little smaller. and it picks up fast. But you know, the car is very small, so you know, an engine this small actually accompanies the size very well. I'm not exactly sure what the horsepower rating is offhand. I want to say it's around 120, 130 some horsepower maybe, but this thing picks up and goes. So that is a pro in my opinion. It is strapped to the 6-speed power shift dual clutch transmission, and I did make a video with that topic all by itself a little while ago on my take of the power shift transmission, and just overall I love it. I think the power shift is a great transmission. It's not perfect, but it's fun. It makes the car fun to drive. So that honestly to me is another pro. And of course the big pro of it all when it comes to this engine is the fuel economy. This car sips gas very slowly. I mean, we've gone weeks and weeks without putting gas in this thing, and it's a great fuel economy engine. So that's a big pro right there. Now, I haven't had to do any maintenance to this car yet. It is coming up on its first oil change, which I will probably end up doing probably within the next month or so. So we're getting to the first oil change, and I'll of course have a video about that. But from what I can tell, I mean, a lot of the other things in the car under here are pretty easy to maintenance. You know, the plug wires and stuff are here. The little tiny air box is there. The battery's not covered up by anything. You should be able to, I'm assuming you can probably get the battery out of here without taking that off. So I know a lot of the other newer Ford cars, the battery's tucked in a little further under that. So, but that seems like it's going to be okay to get to when we need it. The oil filter is on the side. I just now seen that, so that might be a little bit of a fun process when it's time to get that out, since it is sitting sideways. But overall, I'm thinking the maintenance won't be too difficult when it comes to changing all this stuff here, a lot of the do-it-yourself maintenance. So I don't know, I'm kind of neutral on that now that I've seen the filter. I don't know where the plug is. I haven't been under the car, so we'll experience that when we get to it. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is an SE model, and it actually came equipped with a lot of extras compared to your typical SE. So, you know, to start it off, we do have the, you know, automatic headlamps, and we do have the driver information display that includes various information, luminescent gauges all the time, which are just fun to look at. We've got the audio controls and cruise controls on the steering wheel, leather wrapped by the way. Again, everything is pretty much powered with the exception of the seats, but they are optionally heated, so we have that. And the big option here in this vehicle is the My Ford Touch system. And you know, I've filmed a lot of vehicles during my time of, you know, doing Mike's Vehicle Spotlight. A lot of Fords that I have filmed have had this particular My Ford Touch system, and it has gotten a lot of negative reviews from users, and I honestly don't really understand why. I thought the system was very simple. I like how it was designed. Everything's pretty much coded by these colors in the corners of the screen, so each colored category stands for that particular you know, system function. But I like it. I have no problem with this system. I know some people have, you know, said that it lags a little bit compared to the new Sync 3. But for what we use it for, I think it's a great system. You know, you just tap on the, you know, that particular color, and you know, you can access all kinds of things. You know, you got the digital stuff hooked up, and you can, you know, go to those. I just like it, but I mean, overall, I think it's a nice system, and I was excited to finally have a vehicle with this system in it. So I don't know. I think that this is a pro for me. Takes a little while to get used to. Took my wife a little while to get used to it. But overall, I think it's a pro. Again, it has you know, sync, so you can sync your phone, hands-free calling, voice command. Again, a safer vehicle, a safer drive. So the only thing that I really have a con as far as this system is the touchscreen itself, and the screen kind of sits back in this little, you know, bezel, maybe a little too much, and it is a little bit of a smaller screen, I think, compared to your typical touchscreen when it comes to this system. So trying to touch some of the categories might be a little tricky, especially when you're trying to access the bottom ones, because the lip kind of goes downward, and it's a little but again, it's something that you get used to. So that's pretty much the only con that I have about it. It's not too big a deal, I guess. Overall, I'm satisfied with this system. And of course, the audio controls and stuff are set up quite nicely. So that's nice. Now, another pro that I have is the ambient lighting. And this is a really cool feature because, you know, obviously you have lights that look a lot better at night, to be honest with you. But you can see the colors, how they change. And you know, they show up in the cup holders, they show up on the floor, they show up in this little thing here, you can see. So the ambient lighting adds a nice sporty touch to this vehicle, and I definitely think that that's a pro. Now, despite the car being small, you can actually find a lot of storage space in the car, and I would say that that's a pro. So you can see these door pockets are actually nice and wide. You can put more drink up here, like you've got your cup holder there. So that helps out as far as space. You've also got like the little pocket here, the cup holders, of course, your standard cup holders. Even the glove box. The glove box is really nice. It's a deep box. It's definitely not puny like the Escape's glove box. So you can get a lot of stuff in there. The only place that you can't get a lot of stuff in is the center console, and that's actually where like the USB ports and stuff for the sync system are located. And as you can see, if you've got it filled with CDs and stuff, it's hard to get to that particular USB drive. So I mean, this would be the only con out of all the storage space in the car. All the other ones, like the door pockets, the glove box, even this little pocket here and these here, those are pros. That's the only con. Now, the big thing about the storage is this trunk. And of course, there happens to be stuff in it now. But for such a small vehicle, you actually have a real nice amount of trunk space. So again, for such a small car, it can hold a pretty decent amount of stuff. And therefore, that's another pro. And just like the Escape, it's got the easy fuel filler. So again, it's all sealed around here, you don't have to worry about having a fuel cap. Pro. Alright, so before I wrap this up, just a couple of the other pros that I love about the car. Definitely the way that it handles. And it handles, because it's so small and it's not even a wide car. It's, you know, kind of a narrow car, and it's, you know, short. And you got the little 4-cylinder under the hood and the power shift transmission. It is such a zippy car. Like, this car does not hesitate to go at all. The power shift dual clutch transmission gives it the feel of a manual, and it shifts, you know, really quick compared to your typical automatic transmission. When you put it into the select shift mode and you can shift the gears yourself, that gives you a little more fun. But the steering is very, very sensitive. It responds on a dime. So I definitely have a blast driving this vehicle. So that's a definite pro. In regards to the cons of driving, I don't really have anything. One thing that I noticed that I mentioned in the power shift video that I made was that the transmission, once you've driven it for a while in like one session, and everything gets hot and stuff like that, you know, the power shift might shudder a little bit during the first couple of gear changes. So it doesn't bother me, because I figure from what I've read, it's normal for it to do those functions. If it does it too erratically, or if it does it all the time, then you might have an issue. But for what I've experienced, not a big deal. But that's really all that I have to say about the Fiesta. So those are my pros and cons on this particular vehicle. So it is starting to get dark now, and I'm going to run to the store to grab a couple of things. So guys, if you are stopping by this channel for the first time, I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully I will see you guys around. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you do enjoy this or any of the other videos. And also check out Mike's Vehicle Spotlight, which is my official vehicle touring segment that I post right here on this channel. Again, if you're new to this channel, thanks for watching. If you have been here this whole time, again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And I'm gonna go now. So thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time. Take care.